Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. We hope you are doing great. In this video, we'll talk about the recent developments related to green cards and permanent residency in the United States. A presidential advisory commission has unanimously voted to recommend U.S. President Joe Biden to process all applications for green cards or permanent residency within 6 months. If adopted, this proposal is likely to bring cheers to the hundreds and thousands of Indian Americans, including those waiting for it for decades. Green cards and permanent residency. A green card, known officially as a permanent resident card, is a document issued to immigrants to the U.S. as evidence that the bearer has been granted the privilege of residing permanently in the U.S. Indian IIT professionals, most of whom are highly skilled and come to the U.S. mainly on the H-1B work visas, are the worst sufferers of the current immigration system, which imposes a 7% per country quota on allotment of the coveted green card or permanent residency. Recommendations of the Presidential Advisory Commission. The recommendations of the President's Advisory Commission on Asian Americans, Native Hawaiians and Pacific Islanders are to be sent to the White House now for approval. If adopted, it is likely to bring cheers to the hundreds and thousands of Indian Americans and those waiting, some even for decades, for a green card. The proceedings of the meeting were webcast live last week in the national capital. To reduce the pending green card backlog, the Advisory Commission recommended the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, USCIS, to review their processes, systems, and policies and establish new internal cycle time goals. This would be done by streamlining processes, removing redundant steps, if any, automating any manual approvals, improving their internal dashboards and reporting system, and enhancing policies. The recommendation aimed to reduce the cycle time for processing all forms related to family-based green card application DSC renewals and all other green card applications within 6 months. Ensure ABS adjudicate decisions within 6 months of applications received by it. The Commission recommended National Visa Center, NVC, State Department facility to hire additional officers to increase their capacity to process green card applications, interviews by 100% in 3 months from August 2022. And to increase green card applications, visa interviews, and adjudicate decisions by 150% up from the capacity of 32,439 in April 2022 by April 2023. Therefore, green card visa interviews and visa processing timeline should be a maximum of 6 months, it said. Aimed at making it easier for the immigrants to stay and work in the country, the Commission recommended that the USCIS should review requests for work permits, travel documents, and temporary status extensions or changes within 3 months and aggregate decisions. Pending interviews and green cards. Only 65,452 family preference green cards were issued in fiscal 2021 out of the annual 226,000 green cards available, leaving hundreds of thousands of green cards unused, with many likely to be permanently wasted in the future and keeping many more families needlessly separated. There are 421,350 pending interviews in every compared to 436,700 in March, said the policy paper by Butoria, noting that while the U.S. population has grown substantially in recent decades, the immigration system has no change to keep pace. He said the annual levels of immigrations were established in the early 1990s and have remained largely unchanged since then. He said to make matters worse, the method used to calculate the annual number of employment and family-based immigration is deeply flawed.